first episode in my series about the basics of the Pokemon trading card game. In this episode, I will be covering the basics of battling and some stuff about evolution, as you can see from the title. Just a notice, this won't really help you that much unless you are very new to the game. I'm going to try to upload these every other Sunday at about 6 Eastern. I'm going to be using theme decks for this week, and it'll be much easier if you have one that you can use, but it isn't necessary. I'll upload an episode about how to build a deck soon, and I'm playing the online game right now, but that's just because it's easier to record, and the rules are exactly the same with the physical game. Before I explain how to play in the rules, I will go over an FAQ of sorts. So, to start off, what is Pokemon? Pokemon is a card game where two people battle each other with 60 card decks consisting of Pokemon, trainers, and energy. Before the start of a game, you have to have your deck in one stack, shuffled well to either your left or your right. During a match, where will all my cards be? Besides in your deck, there are several places where your cards will be throughout the match. Your hand are the cards you are holding in your hand and are not in play. Your discard is located behind your deck. Once you've used a trainer or a Pokemon is knocked out, it and everything attached to it goes into the discard. Cards can't be taken out of the discard during the match under normal circumstances. Your prize cards will be located on the other side of you, opposite from your deck. The active Pokemon is the Pokemon that is currently fighting your opponent's active Pokemon. And finally, your bench is behind your active Pokemon and holds up to 5 Pokemon which are waiting to become active, and can have items and energy attached to them. How do I win a match? There are 4 ways in which you can win a match. If you have drawn all of your prize cards, you win the match. If your opponent starts their turn and they have no more cards in their deck, you win the match. If you knock out your opponent's active Pokemon and they have no benched Pokemon, you win the match. And if your opponent concedes, then obviously you win. What is HP? HP, or health points, is the amount of damage any given Pokemon can sustain before getting knocked out. For example, if an attack does 60 damage, and the Pokemon sustaining the attack is 100 HP, you would put 6 damage counters on that Pokemon. If the move is used again, the Pokemon is knocked out, and all cards under it are placed in the discard pile, and the attacker takes a prize card. What is energy? Energy cards are a type of card that make up a deck. They allow Pokemon in the deck to attack. There are 2 kinds of energy: basic and special. Energy cards have a solid colored background with a circle in the center of the card. In the circle, there is a symbol, and the symbol differs between the color of background. Different symbols and different colors are different types of energy. Different attacks require different energy. For example, my Torchic's first attack requires 1 flame or fire energy. You can attach or place 1 energy from your hand under one of your Pokemon per turn. Once you have the amount of energy shown or more on an attack under the Pokemon, that Pokemon can use that attack. For example, if I place 1 fire energy under my Torchic on any given turn, and because it has 1 fire energy under it, it can use its first attack, which requires 1 fire energy. Some attacks require energy with a black star in it, called colorless energy. Colorless energy doesn't have its own basic energy, and any energy can be used to fill in slots for colorless energy. For example, let's say at the start of my turn, my Torchic has 1 fire energy on it, and its second attack requires 1 fire energy and 1 colorless energy. To be able to use the second attack, I now just need to put an energy of any kind onto Torchic. It can be a fire energy, it can be another kind of basic energy, or it can be a special energy. Doesn't matter what kind, as long as it has 2 or more energies on it, and one of them is a fire energy. A move or attack. An attack or move is the text on a Pokemon that is under the image of the Pokemon. These require energy and are used to do different things. Some do damage, some remove stadiums, and some lock your opponent out of doing certain things and help you out. Attacking can be done once per turn and is the last thing you do during your turn. Once you attack, your turn is over. Attack name is next to the required energy. The damage the move does is on the right side of the card, across from the attack name. The text, sometimes under the attack, means the move does something besides inflicting damage, ranging from attaching extra energy to preventing your opponents from using items. Some attacks don't do damage at all. On the first turn of the match, attacks can't be used. What does attached mean? The term attached simply means that you used a tool or an energy on that Pokemon. It is then placed under the Pokemon it has been used on, and the effect of the tool or energy is in effect on that Pokemon. As you can see, I just placed an energy on my Torchic, and I am now placing a Rocky Helmet, a tool, on my Torchic, so the effect of the Rocky Helmet is now on Torchic. What are tools? Tools are item cards that can be attached to Pokemon. Once attached, the tool's effect is active, but only on the Pokemon that it is attached to. Tools can't be played like other trainers, and they can only be attached to Pokemon. You can tell if an item is a tool by the text directly under the image of the item. If it says Pokemon Tool, it is a tool. We can now move on to game setup. To determine who goes first, a coin is flipped or a die is rolled. For dice, even numbers are heads and odd numbers are tails. Before the coin is revealed, each player calls which side they think is going to be showing. Winner chooses to go first or second. While first gives you the advantage of being able to play your cards faster, you can't attack on the first turn of the game. I will cover attacking in a few seconds. After the player who is going first is decided, both sides do the following. Take or draw 7 cards from the top of your deck. Look at your cards. This will be your starting hand. If you have any basic Pokemon, put one of them in your active Pokemon space face down above where your bench will be. If you have any other basic Pokemon, you may put them on your bench also face down. Basic Pokemon can be identified by the word basic on the top left corner of the card. Besides basic Pokemon, there are also Stage 1 Pokemon, Stage 2 Pokemon, and Mega Pokemon. Stage 1s and Megas are put onto Basics, and Basics transform or evolve into Stage 1s, and Megas through a process called Mega Evolution are put on to EXs, which we'll cover a little bit later. Stage 2s, like Stage 1s, are put onto their previous evolutions, which are Stage 1s. May be a little confusing, but I'll cover it in greater depth later in the video. Excuse me. If none of the first 7 cards you draw are basics, say the word mulligan, shuffle the 7 cards back into your deck, and draw 7 more cards. Repeat this process until you draw a basic. For every mulligan that occurs, the opposite player of the person who called a mulligan may draw an extra card if he or she wants to. After both players have a basic Pokemon in the active position and have put other basics on the bench if they would like to, both players take the top 6 cards of their deck, do not look at them, and place them on opposite sides of them from their deck. These are your prize cards. A prize card is taken and put into your hand when one of your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by either you or your opponent. After both people are set up, both people flip over their active Pokemon and their bench Pokemon. The game then can begin. So, the average turn. But before I cover that, I would just like to say sorry if this gameplay is a little cut up or out of place. I just kind of ran out of gameplay for the beginning of the game, so sorry about that. But anyway, at the start of every turn, the first thing you do is draw the top card from your deck and put it in your hand. The only thing you would ever do before that is put a new active Pokemon from your bench when your active is knocked out. Then you can do the following in any order. Put a basic from your hand onto your bench as many times as you would like, as long as your bench isn't full. Evolve Pokemon as many times as you want. Once per turn, you may attach 1 energy to either your active Pokemon or one of your benched Pokemon. Play as many items in stadiums, which are 2 of the 3 types of trainer cards, from your hand as you want. You can play one supporter, which is the other kind of trainer, from your hand. You can identify the kind of trainer each trainer is from the text at the top right of the card, I believe it is. Stadium cards are placed beside the 2 active Pokemon and stay in play until another stadium is put into play or a move is used to remove the stadium. As many times as you want, you can use abilities. Abilities are like moves, but they don't use your attack when you activate them and are always active, unless they say something like once per turn in the text. Abilities are marked in red text in place of the first attack and say ability in a red box above the text. Once per turn, you can retreat. When you retreat, you put your active Pokemon on the bench and put one of your benched Pokemon as the active Pokemon. When you retreat, all special conditions, which I will cover in the next episode, are removed. When you retreat, move the number of energies equal to the number of energies on the bottom right of the card under retreat cost to the discard. If you can't discard that many energies, you can't retreat. When you have done as many or as few of these as you would like, you can attack. When you attack, make sure you have the correct number of energies attached to your active Pokemon. Say the name of the attack and then how much damage the attack will do. Some attacks have an addition, subtraction, or multiplication symbol next to the amount of damage. This means that the attack will do different amounts of damage depending on what the fine print below the attack says. If an attack you are looking to use is fine print, make sure you read the print before attacking. Some Pokemon also have weaknesses and resistances, which are marked on the bottom of the card under their respective texts. For example, if your active Pokemon is a fire type and your opponent's active has a weakness of double damage to fire, all of your attacks from your current active to the opponent's current active will do double damage. You cannot attack on the first turn of the match. This process is repeated on each turn until one player wins. That about wraps it up for basic rules and how to play. So now we can get on to evolution. So there are 4 total stages to evolution that we will be covering today. Basic Pokemon. Basics are the only Pokemon that can be placed directly on the bench, besides restored Pokemon, which have really odd rules and we will not be touching upon today. There are also Stage 1s. Stage 1s evolve from Basics. When you want to evolve, simply say Evolve to your opponent and place a Stage 1 that evolves from one of your Basics onto the Basic. You can tell what Stage 1 evolves what a Stage 1 evolves from by looking at the text under the words Stage 1 on the top left corner of the card. When a Basic is evolved, it becomes the Stage 1. The damage counters on the Basic remain on the Pokemon, but all special conditions are removed. It has an updated HP, and it can only use the moves of the evolved Pokemon. There are Stage 2s, which are the same as Stage 1s, except they evolve from Stage 1s, and there are also Mega or just M Pokemon. These are a special kind of evolution. You know what I mean? Sorry about that. It follows the same rules as regular evolution, but it only evolves from the Pokemon EX by the same name. For example, Mega Sceptile EX evolves from Mega Sceptile EX, but not Sceptile. What are EXs, you ask? EXs are basic but extremely powerful versions of Pokemon that are much rarer than regular cards when you're opening booster packs. One thing that is different about Mega Evolution is that when EXs are Mega Evolved, your turn ends, so you can't use trainers or attacks after you Mega Evolve, as your turn ends. I will be covering Mega Pokemon more in depth in a later episode. Anyway guys, that about wraps it up for this week. Next time I'll be covering various trainers as well as special conditions. If you think I missed something about the basic rules, or if I covered something too fast, please drop a comment below. Constructive criticism is also very welcome. If you want to see more of these every couple of weeks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Sorry for all the technical problems, I'm still sorting them out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.